Good morning. Good morning, traders. How are you all doing today? Karibuni sana. Glad that you could all join us this fine Friday morning. Hope everyone's week has been well. Uh, Now, I guess since we're a good number, we should be able to start. So, hello, everyone. How are you doing today? My name is Mitch Kaniero, and I'm a trader with Afriforex. I want to welcome you to another Afriforex daily analysis session. Now, during these webinars, ideally, we as the Afriforex team, we analyze the markets every morning. We identify what trading opportunities we will be looking at taking for the day, and we do share that information with you. So, as usual, not here alone. I am here with the Afriforex team. So, we do have John in the back office. We'll be here to assist with whatever questions or queries you might have. So, feel free to ask those questions either in the Q&A section or in the chat box, and John will be there to respond to you. But remember, even if you ask a question, even during the webinar, I will still be addressing all the questions in the Q&A section at the end of the webinar. Now, if you're streaming in from other services, so YouTube, Instagram, there should be a link there if you do want to be able to join us on Zoom. So I guess we can jump straight into it. So I'll just share my screen now. Now, as usual, we'll start off with our watch list. So looking at our watch list in comparison to yesterday and today. Yesterday, we were looking for selling opportunities on the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, the US dollar, as well as the Canadian dollar. And we wanted to mix and match those pairs with the pairs on the buy side. That was the New Zealand dollar, the Australian dollar, the British pound, and the euro. Now, there have been a number of changes in terms of fundamentals that did come out. So you can see there are less pairs on the sell side. So we still have the Swiss franc as well as the Canadian dollar. However, you can realize that the Japanese yen and the US dollar are now going to be showing a strength. So they have moved to the buy side. So this is the watch list for today. I will keep on coming back to it for your referral if you have not necessarily been able to take a screenshot. But as usual, we'll start off with a review of the pairs we had yesterday that we're not going to be looking at today. Remember, we only mix and match the pairs that are on the buy side with the sell side. If they're on the same side, there is no trading opportunity for us. So we'll start off with the New Zealand dollar against the Japanese yen. Now, yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. You can see the three areas John had pointed out. But remember, yesterday, we also noted that this market seemed to be in a range. So the market structure was a range. And if you're looking for a trading opportunity within a range, it's always best to look for a buying opportunity at the bottom, making sure to manage at the top. But you can see in this situation, yesterday, the market did price, or at least price still managed to go up higher. It managed to breach this area to the upside. And you can see the illustration John had pointed out. We wanted a pullback to come back towards this area before we could potentially look for a buy. And you can see that happened just during the London market open. Around 10 o'clock, you can see it breached the upside. There was a pullback. Price was holding above, so that confirmed that that level was broken. And you can see there was a buying opportunity then. Another small one did happen at 3. You can see it did pull back to this small support and resistance area right here. You can see after the price broke the upside, it pulled back to that area and attempted to go up high. But you can see after 4:30, once the New York Stock Exchange did open, you can see the price started coming down a bit lower, but it was mainly during the Asian session. You can see the price has really come down lower. This is because we had some fundamentals early in the morning for the Japanese yen, which did bring in some strength, and that's the reason why this pair is coming down. So unfortunately for us, this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list for today. So we'll move on to the next currency pair we did have. We also had the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. In this currency pair, our bias was to look for buying opportunities, and there was a very nice buying opportunity that did come out. Similar situation with the New Zealand dollar against the Japanese yen during the London market open. Remember, we always talk about correlation. So if you're seeing one pair moving, you have a high probability of another pair also moving as well. So you can see once the price broke above this area, you can see the price held above within this particular area, and you could have looked for a buying opportunity. And you can see the market did manage to get all the way to the high. And this is a problem area, and I do end up hoping if you did manage to grab a buying opportunity there, you did manage your trade there. But you can see from 4:30, the price started coming down really aggressively. And remember, that was because we had a lot of US dollar fundamentals that came out yesterday that did bring in a lot of strength for the US dollar, which we'll end up having a look at. But the pair did end up falling off our watch list, and you can see the way the price continued going down lower. So unfortunately for us, this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list for today. Now, moving on to the next currency pair we did have the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. Similar situation in terms of the market structure. We seem to be in some sort of range. So yesterday, the price did look as if it attempted to reach its area to the upside. You can see the buyers attempted to go up higher. We could not necessarily do that much. pull back lower. Around 3 o'clock, you can see that once the US market opened, it came so close towards this buyer's area. It seems that the main buyers seem to have possibly been right here, because you can see these are where the buyers pushed up from. Price got towards that area and did manage to come all the way back towards the seller's area. You can see at 4:30, the price did end up holding within this area in some sort of range. And you can see during the Asian session, the price really started coming down lower, still within the range. But remember, when pairs are both on the same side, it has a high probability of breaking. So if the Australian dollar is trying to show strength, it will try and push it up. And if the yen is trying to show strength, it will try to push it down, meaning you'll find the market just actually ranging between these two levels. So unfortunately for us today, this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list. Now, moving on to the next hands pair we did have yesterday, we did have the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Similar situation. We do have these three levels here that we're looking for buying opportunities. And you can see the price managed to reach its area to the upside, was a bit earlier. So around 10 o'clock during the London market open, we were within a seller's area. So at that point in time, no buying opportunities. You can see the price attempted to come down, holding above, trying to come up, but it seems that the market really struggled. You can see even at 3 o'clock, it came back to some small buyers' area, attempted to go up higher with that strength. But because remember, the US dollar started showing a lot of strength as well during the New York Stock Exchange, because you can see from 4:30, the price has just continued coming down. So unfortunately for us today, there's a pair that's going to be off our watch list. Now, moving on to the next kind of pair that we did have the British pound against the Japanese yen. Now, in this kind of pair, yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. You can see the three areas. Now, remember the timings that we always point out, 10, 3, and 4:30. So it seems that just slightly earlier, around nearly the Frankfurt market open, remember that happens at 9 o'clock. You can see the price started going to the upside, but by 10, you can see where we were. We're so close towards the seller's area. So it was not a good place to look for a buying opportunity, but you can see the market attempted to break this area to the upside, was actually holding. You can see this number of probes right here. It was around 4 going into 4:30 that the price started going up higher aggressively. So you can see the strength of the British pound really managed to push this up higher. Similar situation also, you can see the price has attempted to come down slightly, and you can see the price seems to be in some sort of small range, bouncing between these two levels, as you can see. So the fact that the price is bouncing between those two levels, the British pound is still showing strength, but remember the Japanese yen has switched to the buy side and is also potentially showing us strength today. So this is a pair, unfortunately, even though it worked out quite nicely yesterday, if you're in on the trade today, you might find some issues. But overall, this trade worked out quite well for the buy yesterday. So moving on to the next kind of pair we have the British pound against the US dollar. In this kind of pair, our bias yesterday was to look for the buying opportunities. You can see the illustration John had pointed out yesterday. If the price breaks to the upside to get some sort of probe within this area, you can end up looking for a buy. And you can see the market did exactly that, came down within this particular area, came back in aggressive. Now, the pullback did not necessarily happen just within around midday. You can see it came down later on. It pulled back towards this area. And if you note the time that happened, that was at exactly 3 o'clock, the US market opened. So remember, that's the reason why we always tell you this time. I know we sound like a broken record a number of times, but it is a fact in terms of you have a high probability of the trade working out then. You can see the trade worked out quite nicely, going up to the high area right here. Should have managed your trade there, because you can see the price was there at 4:30. And since we've seen on the other currency pairs, or at least the US pairs that we've looked at, all of them from 4:30 started gaining a lot of strength, and you can see that's when the price started coming down. But unfortunately for us, this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list for today. Now, moving on to the next currency pair we did have the euro against the Japanese yen yesterday, looking for buying opportunities. But unfortunately, we're not going to be looking at that today because the yen has added strength. So you can see at 10 o'clock during the London market open, holding within this area. I know John had pointed out some sort of level here that you could end up watching out for. And you can see once the price managed to break above that level, you can see the price kept on holding above it. Now, at 3 o'clock, we were still holding below, so it was quite risky. This one would have been a bit difficult to get because you can see the price just pulled back. Once it broke to the upside, unfortunately, we did not get a pullback, confirming that the price is holding above, and it did manage to continue going up higher. But remember, today, this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list because the euro and the Japanese yen are showing strength. That means the market is most likely going to range and give you a lot of spikes. So that's the reason why this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list for today. Now, Last but not least, for the reviewed pairs, we did have the euro against the US dollar. This one worked out quite well. And I think we did end up getting a number of screenshots as well. So you can see this pair, we were looking for buying opportunities based on these three areas. At 10 o'clock, price was within this seller's area during the London market open. So there was no trading opportunity then. It did pull back, coming back to some sort of support and resistance area. And market managed to actually break to the upside. You can see once a breach happened and the price was holding above, could have looked for a buying opportunity. But if you notice, that happened at around 1 o'clock. So even at 1, the price attempted to go up higher, but did not take off. The reason being, there was no big boy who was there to actually push the market. That's the reason why when we're telling you about the market open, so if you're telling you 10 and the market starts moving at 10, you're relying on the London big boys to actually move the market event. So it's seeing at that time, the London big boys were not showing that much interest. But at 3 o'clock, once the US market opened, those big boys were willing enough, or at least had enough money to push the price up higher. And you can see the reason why we always tell you, make sure you manage your trades. But similar situation at 4:30, they can see that's exactly when the market started turning down. But remember, this is based on the US dollar. And we have seen on all the US dollar pairs from 4:30, they did end up gaining a lot of strength. And you can see the way the price has been coming down. So unfortunately for us, there's a pair that's going to be off our watch list for today. So that's it for all the review pairs that we've had a look at. So right now, we're going to end up having a look at a few screenshots that we did manage to get before we do end up focusing on today's pairs. So I want to give a shout out. Let's start off here with Alice. Alice, you did manage to grab a very nice buying opportunity on the British pound against the Canadian dollar. It's still a currency pair we're going to be looking at today for a buy. But you did manage to grab a very nice buying opportunity. Your take profit is right there. But I do know this market actually continued going much, much higher. But remember, it's not about trying to maximize fully on the profit of one specific trade. Remember, you're not going to retire off one trade. Always try and make sure you're able to be in and out. Take your profit and just keep on repeating that process, managing your risk. That's the way that your accounts will end up growing. But there's a very nice buying opportunity here after the probe. You can see the price came back and you can see the price going up higher. So very, very well done on this trade, Alice. So also next, we did get Beatrice. Beatrice, have to see a screenshot here. Did manage to grab a buying opportunity on gold. Now, gold's fundamentals did change, or at least the market structure did change. But you can see you did manage to grab a buying opportunity. I know yesterday we were within a buyer's area once we were within this session. And we did, John, I think, pointed out that you could potentially look for a counter before you are able to look for that selling opportunity. And you can see you did grab a very nice buy and the price going really up in your favor. So very, very well done. But I do know the price continued going up much higher. So very well done on that trade, Beatrice. So also next, we did get Claire. Claire, I have to see a screenshot here as well. We did manage to grab a buying opportunity on the US 30. This is the Dow Jones. You can see a very nice buying opportunity within a buyer's area. Very nicely done. You can see the market already coming up in your favor and your stop loss above your entry. But remember, this one, I think we were looking for selling opportunities. So I do end up hoping, even though this was just a pullback, I do end up hoping you managed your trade because I think the price did actually come back down low. But happy to see that your stop loss is already above. Now, the main thing is to secure some profit, but very well done on this trade, Claire. So also next, we did get Dan Bickett. It seems yesterday you were on a roll. Yesterday, you also got the British pound against the Canadian dollar. Very nice buying opportunity there. Stop loss already above your entry point. So very well done. You can see you're targeting an area where the sellers, but as you can see, you're approaching a seller's area right here, which you have a level right here. I do end up hoping you also manage your trade. You never know whether or not those sellers could end up coming back in. But very well done on this trade, Dan Bickett. You also grabbed the euro against the US dollar. Very nice selling opportunity, and you can see the price coming down low. It seems you did take advantage of that US dollar strength that did come in. You can see your stop loss already is below your entry, and you sold with sellers. So very, very well done on this trade, Dan Bickett. Last but not least, we did also get the Dow Jones. Very nice buying opportunity there. In fact, multiple buys. You can see the price is coming up in your favor, but good trade management as your stop losses are already above your entry, at least on one trade. But as you're approaching this seller's area, I do end up hoping you manage your trade. But very, very good job on that trade, Dan Bickett. And thank you so much for everyone who did manage to send in your screenshots. So very happy to see that a number of you are profiting from the information that we do give. So remember, if you do manage to take any setups based on things that we do share today, feel free to send them in to us. Our contact details should be there on the chat box. You can send them in to us via WhatsApp. So that's it for the review pairs. So right now, let's focus on today's pairs. So you can see this is the watch list for now. So we'll focus, or at least we'll start off with the Swiss franc pairs, mix and match that with all the pairs on the buy side, do the same thing with the Canadian dollar. before we have a look at the metals, or at least the indices, and with gold and silver. So we'll start off with the Swiss franc against the New Zealand dollar. So that's the New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc, sorry. So on this kind of pair, yesterday our bias was to look for buying opportunities. It is still the same situation today. It seems that the market did end up working out quite well nicely. You can see yesterday at 10 o'clock, the market managed to reach this area to the upside. You can see the price managed to continue going up all the way to the main sellers area where we should have managed the trade. And you can see those sellers did react, giving us a pullback. Now, you can see the illustration John had pointed out yesterday, hoping that the price was going to come back down all the way here. It seems that's what has happened today. So overall, our bias is still going to be looking for buying opportunities based on these three areas. So right now we are at the aggressive area right there. That means that if this price actually breaches this area to the downside and the price falls below, this pair will fall off our watch list. But if we are able to get some sort of probe or price action signal where you see the price coming back in, holding above, then you should be able to look for a buy. Don't forget to manage your trade within this first problem area. We are able to get the price breaching and holding above. So we want that pullback to come in, want the price to hold above, then we should be able to continue with your buying opportunities. But if price breaches and holds below this red SNR, this pair will definitely fall off our watch list. So do be careful about that. So pretty much the same level as yesterday. Remember, market structure, we do seem to be attempting to be in some sort of range. So right now, being at the bottom of the range, you can possibly look at the smaller time frame to look at more detail of how you can actually jump into that trading opportunity. Or if you do want that information of knowing exactly what you can end up doing to enter the markets there, then that's where you can end up actually taking advantage of, I know we did end up pointing out yesterday, this, for example, by program, we trust you made in this one, your entries will not necessarily be an issue afterwards. So, because remember, we're going to be focusing on training, then practical. For a whole 2 weeks, we're just going to be on the charts looking for opportunities together. So do make sure if you are interested, if it doesn't mean that you have to have the money now, remember, just sign up just to show interest, and at least we'll let you know. You never know, we could end up giving you a very nice discount as well. So if you're interested, there should be a link for this in the chat box. So let's move on to the next kind pair, which is the Australian dollar against the Swiss franc. Now, in this kind of pair, similar situation yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. We can see the areas that John had pointed out. Now, yesterday during the London market open, or at least even during this trading session that we had, can see John had pointed out an area where they could end up finding some issues. Remember, wanted to see if we could end up getting a pullback, seeing if the price is going to actually hold above this area. But unfortunately, there was no buying opportunity for us, because you can see when the price came down, it just reached this area to the downside and confirmed it was broken, because you can see on the pullback, the price was holding below it. So you can see even today, the way the price has come down, but right now we're back within the main buyers area. You can see the sellers side coming down aggressive. They seem to be potentially slowing down. So it's a similar situation with the New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc, pretty much watching out for the same areas. But in this situation, we should end up waiting to see some sort of confirmation here, some sign that the buyers are actually interested. So if we do end up getting some sort of big move to the upside, wait for some sort of pullback, and we could potentially end up looking for a buying opportunity. You can see this is an area where sellers have reacted. It's a definite big support and resistance area, so just watch out for that. We're able to get the price breaching and holding above this area, then we should be able to continue. Watch out for this middle level right here, because you can see if the market did end up reacting there yesterday, it could potentially end up reacting from there again. If we do end up getting the price breaching that area, we should be good to go to come and target all the way to the high. But for now, remember also, if the price breaches and holds below this red support and resistance area, this pair will definitely fall off our watch list. So I hope that is clear on the Australian dollar against the Swiss franc. We will move on to the next currency pair we do have, which is the British pound against the Swiss franc. Now, yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. You can see the three areas John had pointed out where the levels are right there. And you can see the London market open, did manage to get the price reaching this area to the upside. The price confirmed. You can see even as John had pointed out, it could probe, which it did. It came down, then came straight back in and was holding above within this area. So you can see there was a nice trading opportunity during the London session where the price managed to go all the way up to the seller's area. Now, at 3 o'clock during the US market open, the price was within a seller's area. So no buying opportunity then, but you can see the price still managed to give us a pullback close to 430. This was around 4, 415, around there. And you can see it did end up giving us another buying opportunity to take the price up higher. So you can see we also did manage to beat this area to the upside, which it does seem to be holding above. So overall today, bias is definitely to continue looking for those buying opportunities. We've identified these three major areas where we could end up expecting the price pulling back to, giving us a nice buying opportunity. So watch out for these levels, but also take note. You can see yesterday's level, we did have some sort of a scenario right there, and you can see the price seems to be in some sort of range. So we'll watch out for this. If the market hasn't able to break this area to the upside, let's see if we can be able to get some sort of pullback coming back within here, price holding above for us to end up looking for our buy. Alternatively, if the price is able to break this area to the upside and actually hold above, we should be able to continue looking for buying opportunities on the British pound against the Swiss franc. So hope that's clear on the Swiss franc pair. As we move on to the next Swiss franc pair that we do have, the euro against the Swiss franc. You can see on this kind of pair yesterday, the three levels that John had pointed out, and we were looking for buying opportunities. You can see the buyers really did work out quite well, but this was mainly during the London session. You can see once we hit this area, 10 o'clock, price was actually holding above, so you could have ended up looking for a buying opportunity then. Started moving at around 1 o'clock, not necessarily any specific major time. So I know we always point out the times 10, 3, 4:30, but there could have also been some fundamentals as well coming out around that time. But as long as the price was holding above, we could have actually looked for buying opportunities. Even during the US session, the market just kept on grinding, going up higher and higher. So it did not necessarily give us much of a pullback that we wanted, but that's okay. Our bias, we know, is definitely to still look for buying opportunities. So the main thing we want is a pullback. I don't think anyone goes to a store asking for the most expensive price. Everyone, even if they're told a specific price, they should always ask for some sort of discount, some sort of deal. So for us, we'll be looking for the same thing. Hopefully, we can end up getting the price giving us some sort of pullback, getting the price holding above this particular area. Then we should be able to continue looking for those buying opportunities. Alternatively, if the euro strength continues coming in, because I do know we have a number of euro fundamentals that are still meant to be coming out later on today. You can see we have some Swiss franc news, so stay tuned, Mitri and the Telegram channel, just in case there are any changes. But you can see we also have a number of euro fundamentals coming out. So at around 1 o'clock, as well as close to 11. So even though we mentioned these times, 10, 3, and 4:30, also take note of when fundamental news are coming out for a pair that you are actually trading. Because you could find that also ends up being a catalyst to actually start pushing the market. So overall, we'll definitely be looking for buying opportunities on the euro against the Swiss franc, but watch out for those specific timings, 10, 3, 4:30, as well as when those fundamentals are actually coming out. So I hope that's clear for the euro against the Swiss franc. As we move on to the next Swiss franc pair, which is the Swiss franc against the Japanese yen. This is a brand new entry on our watch list. Remember, the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen were both on the same side yesterday, but the fact that this yen actually ended up switching sides, then that means this is a pair that we can focus on today. So these are the three levels we'll be looking at. Right now, you can see in terms of the market structure, we seem to be in some sort of range. So overall, we definitely still want to look for selling opportunity. We'll be looking for our sells right here at the top. So if we do end up getting some sort of probe within here, we could end up looking for a selling opportunity there. Make sure you manage your trade within the bottom area here. But if we are able to get the price breaching and holding below, then we should be able to continue looking for selling opportunities. Don't wait or at least start chasing the market like this, where you can see the price looks as if it was breaching to the downside. To all the way here. At some point in time, it was a big red candle. Most people would have thought that level was broken, but you can see on the pullback, the fact that the price never held below, it ends up being a probe. So this is not a real price right there. So overall, today, we look for the sells, but remember, look for the sells higher up within the seller's area. The price breaches and falls above this main seller's area and breaks the market structure, then this pair is going to fall off our watch list. So take note of that as we move on to the last Swiss franc pair, which is the US dollar against Swiss franc. Similar situation with the Swiss franc against the Japanese yen. Both of these pairs were on the same side yesterday. But remember, as we pointed out during the New York Stock Exchange open at around 4:30 yesterday, we can see that's when the fundamentals, or at least the strength for the US dollar started coming in. So you can see from 4:30, the dollar strength that really continued coming in. So today, bias is definitely going to be looking for buying opportunities. You can see we have managed to go up higher, but right now we're getting a pullback, which is what we want to see. Very interested to see how the market ends up reacting within this first area. We know the sellers are coming down strong. Wait to see if buyers are going to end up reacting and if the price is actually going to hold above for you to look for your buy. If the price breaches and falls below this area, then we'll be looking for our buying opportunities within this spread support and resistance area. Because you can see on the higher time frame, on the 1 hour time frame, this is a major level. You can see that those are the previous high that the price was holding. And right now, the fact that we've breached, there's still a possibility the price can pull back to that area before it continues. So overall, we'll still be looking for the buys. Let's just read those pullbacks as they're coming down. Once we do see the slowdown, and hopefully the market is within one of these buyers areas, within one of the market opening times, then we should be able to find some nice trading opportunities here. So I hope that is clear for all the Swiss franc pairs. So you can see we'll mix and match the Swiss franc with all the pairs on the buy side. So right now we're going to do the same thing with the Canadian dollar as well. So we'll start off with the New Zealand dollar against the Canadian dollar. Now, this time pair, yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. It still is today, and you can see the buys did work out quite nicely yesterday, although at 10 o'clock in the London market open, we were within a seller's area, so no buying opportunity at that time. But once we did get the price reaching this area to the upside, and you can see it pull back, holding above around 3 o'clock, we did end up getting another buying opportunity. Unfortunately, we did not get all the way to the main seller's area. It seems that there were some sellers right here. You can see these are the sellers who did end up actually pushing this market down lower. At least the price did not actually break that area. And you can see from around 4:30, the price started coming down lower. So overall today, we're still going to be looking for buying opportunities. But right now, it seems that there's something happening with the New Zealand dollar as well as the Australian dollar. It seems that they're being dragged around. And one reason for that could be because if we do end up having a look at our economic calendar, you'll notice that today, in the New Zealand dollar, it's their New Year's Day, it seems. So it seems to be a holiday in New Zealand. So chances of there being some, or at least the other currencies dragging the New Zealand dollar are high. So even though here we're looking for these buying opportunities, focusing on these same areas, you can see the price looks as if it's broken this area to the downside. But remember, in order for us to look for buying opportunities, we need sellers. And right now, if you sold from up there, the top definitely will be closing. But all those people jumping in on sells now, it could be quite risky because ideally what you could end up seeing is the price breaking this area to the upside. And if you see the price holding above, then you should end up finding a very nice buying opportunity on the New Zealand dollar against the Canadian dollar. But if it holds below and keeps maintaining below this area, this pair is going to be off our watch list for today. So watch out for that, and also take a note of the correlation. So you can see also the New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc were within a buyer's area as well after such a pullback. So we could end up finding some similar correlation coming in with the New Zealand dollar. So if you see the price is breaking to the upside, have a look at the other pairs, and maybe we could end up finding some nice correlation and some nice trading opportunities there. So moving on to the next Canadian dollar pair, similar situation. We do have here the Australian dollar against Canadian dollar. Yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities, but you can see where the price was at 10 o'clock. Price was all the way within the seller's area. So there was no buying opportunity for us. You can see it did end up giving us a pullback. It attempted to hold above, but the sellers kept on coming down quite strong. Now you can see the price managed to come all the way back down to this buyer's area, and it was around 3 o'clock, the US market open. And you can see the type of reaction that did come in. We did end up grabbing a buying opportunity. Remember, we always point out, make sure you do some trade management. And in this situation, when you can see here, since we had a level right there, once the price looked as if it was breaking to the upside, the confirmation should have been if the price held above this area, then we should have been able to continue with those buys. But you can see the price actually came down and was actually holding below that area. So there was no necessarily buying opportunity just yet at that point in time. You can see the price has attempted to actually come down a bit lower. So today, buyers is still going to be looking for buying opportunities. However, if I do go to the 1 hour time frame, you can see the overall market structure. With this, you can see as the price was coming down, if you compare how the sellers were coming down here and compare how the buyer came up, the buyer was very, very strong. Back within this particular seller's area where the sellers reacted from before. Now compare how the sellers came down within this area and how the buyers came up. The buyers are looking much, much stronger at that point in time. But similar situation, back within this seller's area, look at how long it's taken the price to actually give us some sort of pullback. If you compare it, the sellers look much, much slower. So a number of times when this happens, you find that the price is actually pulled back to certain areas. You can see there's an area right here where the buyers, or at least a support and resistance area, for this main buyer who pushed the price up high. So you could easily find the price giving us some sort of pullback, price holding above within this area before we're able to look for buying opportunities. So that's the reason why the levels are not necessarily as close. So we'll be still focusing on the buy, because we do know the price is potential for the price to actually pull back all the way down till here, and we could find a very nice buying opportunity. But remember, if the price breaches and holds below this area, the red support resistance area, this pair will fall off our watch list. But right now, as you can see, the price has come down, it's attempting to come down, could be holding below, or could be attempting to hold above. You can see the price is going up. If you do see the price actually holding above within this area, then we should be able to look for buying opportunities on the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. But similar situation, watch out for the correlation as well. So you can see on the Australian dollar against Swiss franc, this one has managed to start coming up. So we could end up finding something similar coming in on the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. So those are the levels. You can be able to take a screenshot of that. But remember, the recording is available on our YouTube channel. So do make sure if you do end up wanting to get more clarification, you can be able to join that as well. So moving on to the next currency pair we do have, the next Canadian dollar pair, we have the British pound against Canadian dollar. Now, there's a number of pair that, was it Alice and Dan Bickett, did manage to grab this buying opportunity. So you can see we did have these three areas looking for buying opportunities. Now, at 10 o'clock, where were we? Well, within the seller's area. So no buying opportunity then. But remember, you can see the price still managed to give us a pullback. It probed, showing us evidence that the price is actually holding above. We could have actually looked for a buying opportunity then. You can see the areas that we pointed out. Make sure you manage your trade within this area. But even then, once the price actually, because this was around 3 o'clock, once we broke to the upside and you can see the price is holding above, you take note that was around 4:30 or so. So you can see there was another small buying opportunity right there, even during the US session, but it mainly ended up working out during the Asian session, because you can see it did not break this area, pull back, but during the Asian session, that's when the market actually continued taking it up higher. It seems like the Asian big boys were way more interested in buying the British pound. So today, buyers will pretty much will have the same levels, so we're pretty much holding within those same areas. But right now, you can see we're back within a seller's area. So no trading opportunity for us this yet. We could end up waiting for one of two things, either a breach and a hold. You can see it attempted to breach within this area right there, but it just ended up probing right there. So the main thing we want to see is if we can end up getting the price coming up higher, holding above, then we should be able to look for our buying opportunities there. Alternatively, since the price is so much higher, hopefully we can end up getting some sort of pullback coming back within this area, giving us some sort of global price action signal for us to look for a buying opportunity there. But for now, we'll ideally be patient, wait for a pullback or a breach to the upside. So hope that's clear on the British pound against the Canadian dollar. As we move on to the next Canadian dollar pair, we do have the euro against the Canadian dollar. Now, it seems the euro and the British pound pairs really did end up showing a number of, or at least a bit of strength yesterday, which is a nice thing. You can see the three areas John had pointed out. Now, at 10 o'clock, where the price was, we were pulling back within this area. You can see the same situation that we pointed out, or at least even John had illustrated here. The price comes down, gives us a probe, and comes back in and holds above, which you can see the price came down, bridge to the upside, was holding above. It did not take off just yet, but you can see at around 3 o'clock, it just gave us a pullback around 3:30 towards this area, and there was a very nice buying opportunity there. You can see this same illustration could even be put within this area here. As you can see, once the price came down, we reached the upside, showed us evidence that the price is holding above, there was another buying opportunity as well. So the same structure that we're always looking at, something to confirm that the level has actually holding or actually been broken, should end up giving you some nice ideas of when to actually look for those trades. So today, we've changed the level slightly, but overall, we're still going to be looking for those buying opportunities. So we have the seller's area right there, we have the semi-conservative area, and we have the aggressive buyers right here, all the way at the bottom. So right now, ideally, what we're possibly thinking, or at least what we hope, is if we can end up potentially getting a pullback within this area for us to look for a buying opportunity. So let me just show that again. So if we can end up getting some sort of probe or price action signal within there, we should be able to look for buying opportunity. But one other thing to take note of is you can see the way the buyers, or at least the sellers, the first time we were within this area, what kind of reaction they had. But look at their reaction now. It doesn't necessarily look that strong. So you could end up easily finding the price actually breaking this area to the upside. And if it holds above, you should be able to continue looking for buying opportunities on the euro against the Canadian dollar. So the way to see what ends up happening, watch out for certain levels, even though we've pointed out here, seems to be some sort of level here as well. You can see this support and resistance area where sellers have reacted from before, and buyers have also reacted from before. So even if we're getting the pullback, also watch out for certain levels, because especially if they're there during one of the market opening times. Now, moving on to the next currency pair, at least the second last currency pair we do have, which is the Canadian dollar against the Japanese yen. These are brand new entry in our watch list, because remember, the Canadian dollar and the Japanese yen were both on the same side yesterday. But today, since the yen is apparently going to be stronger, we'll be focusing on looking for selling opportunities on this currency pair. So we will be focusing on these two areas. Right now, where the price is at, we're within a buyer's area, you can see the buyers reacting. We're entering some sort of range. So hopefully, if we're in the range, the best place to look for your selling opportunities is at the top of the range. Make sure you manage your trade within this buyer's area. But if you are able to get the price breaching and holding below where these buyers are, then we should be able to continue looking for selling opportunities on the Canadian dollar against the Japanese yen. But remember, if the price makes a new high, reaches and goes above this red support and resistance area, then that's the cutoff time where its pair will fall off our watch list. So I hope that's a clear cut. Ideally, market structure, range, best place to look for the sell is at the top of the range. Right now, the price is in the middle. There is nothing for us to do at that point. So last but not least, we do have the US dollar against Canadian dollar. In this currency pair, a brand new entry in our watch list, and overall, we will be looking for buying opportunities on this currency pair. So focus on these three levels. As you can see, the buyers who pushed it up were mainly during the Asian session. As you can see, the buyers really took this pair to the upside. Now, we did get a pullback and the price attempted to break to the upside, couldn't, and right now the sellers have come down. It could mean one of two things. Either we could be entering in some sort of range, bouncing between these two levels, but the other thing is this buyer's area right here. So if you look at the way the buyers within this price, they attempted to go up. If the market was not able to make any new highs, it means that maybe this price wasn't good enough. I mean, if you want, you go to a shop and the store offers you a certain price. If it's not a good enough price, you might not necessarily buy as much. It's a similar situation that happens on the chart. And if that's the case, maybe they need a bit more of a discount. So what you might find actually happening is the price looks as if it's breaking to the downside. Most people start entering sells where it actually ends up getting a better price. And if you see the price coming back in, probing and holding above, then that will give you a very nice signal to continue looking for your buying opportunities, because the price did end up getting, at least the big boys did end up getting a better price. So we'll watch out for that. Overall, we're still going to be looking for buying opportunities. Watch out. The way the sellers have come down here seems to be quite aggressive. And you can be able to look at that detail on the smaller time frame. So you can be able to see the slowdown of the buyers and sellers to be able to determine when you can be able to take the trading opportunity. So I hope that's clear. As you can see, we've mixed and matched all the currency pairs that are on the sell side. So that's the Swiss franc and the Canadian dollar, with all the pairs on the buy side. So right now, we're going to move on to the indices. So we'll start off with the NAS 100 before we have a look at gold and silver. So starting off with the NASDAQ, here we were looking for buying opportunities on this currency pair. And you can see the buys really did work out yesterday. So this being the NAS 100, it's mainly active during the US session. I mean, because we're dealing with the top 100 US companies. So obviously it's going to be way more active then. So you can see at 3 o'clock where the price was, even though we're looking for buys, was so close towards the seller's area. So no trading opportunity. But at 3 o'clock, the price did manage to actually break to the upside. In fact, this was around 4:30. That's when it got the strength to go to the upside. But remember, even if the price goes up higher like that, we want to see a pullback, getting confirmation that the price is holding above. You can see the price came down very aggressive, maybe stopped a number of people out, because all those people who are buying, they all had their stop losses within this area, all of them getting stopped out before the price managed to actually probe, come back, show us evidence that it was holding above, although this was much later, around 9 o'clock or so, then the price did manage to continue going up higher. So the opportunity did end up happening a bit later on yesterday. But overall, today, the buyers is still going to be looking for these buying opportunities. So you can see the areas that we do have. We do have the seller's area right there. So if we're all the way at the top there, we do not want to buy at such a high price. Either waiting for a breach to the upside, confirming that the buyers are actually really going to continue looking for those buys, or alternatively, let's see if we can end up getting this pullback coming in, giving us some sort of probe or price action signal for us to look for buying opportunities. But we do know on this pair that as long as we're holding above this red support and resistance area, our buyers should be to look for buying opportunity. Once it breaks this area to the downside and goes below, that's when our buyers will switch and they'll start looking for sells on the last 100. So I hope that's clear. Let's wait to see if we can get the price breaching and holding above, then we should be able to continue looking for those buys. Now, moving on to the US 30. Now, yesterday, as you can see, yesterday, sorry, it was the NAS 100. No, apologies for that. The pairs are still the same. Sorry. So yesterday, for the Dow Jones, we were looking for selling opportunities. We did have these three areas. I think this is the pair that Claire, you did manage to grab a buying opportunity on that pullback, but you can see the price still managed to come down lower. So I do end up hoping you manage your trade or at least close some of your position, because I remember your stop loss is above your entry. If you end up entering such a nice trade, it's in your favor. If you don't manage your trade within there, to come back and stop you out at break even. So all that work would be for nothing. So, but today the buyers here still going to be looking for those sells. And so even though the buyers came up aggressive, how did the sellers react? Way more aggressive, right? And you can see on the pullback, the price seems to be holding within this support and resistance area. So overall, the level will pretty much be the same. Right now, what we want to see is as these buyers are coming up, and you can see they're struggling to make any new highs. Hopefully, we can end up getting some sort of probe, the price coming back in, holding below for us to look for selling opportunities. The price continues going up higher. Yes, we will be watching out for our main sellers area, but the fact that yesterday, sellers seem to have been interested in this particular price, just watch out for that seller's area, because you never know whether or not the market might end up reacting within that location. But remember, this being the Dow Jones, these indices were purely technical, meaning if the price breaks and falls above the red support and resistance area, it will not fall off our watch list, but we will actually change direction and start looking for buying opportunities then. But as long as we're holding below this red SNR, our bias should be to look for selling opportunities. We have a higher probability of the market actually continue coming down because we are in a seller zone. So hope that's clear on the Dow Jones. So right now we're going to move on to the metals. So usually we'll start off with silver before we look at the fan favorite gold. So yesterday, our bias here on silver was to look for selling opportunities. Remember, we pointed out these three areas that we could potentially look for sell. Now, during the London market open, price was within a bias area. So no selling opportunity at that time, but you can see the bias did end up reacting. Come back this first area, we're hoping to see some aggressive sellers, but if you compare how the buyers came up and how the sellers were pushing, there was not much strength from the seller. The buyer managed to continue going up higher. This was during the US market open, and at 4:30, price was all the way back in a seller's area, giving us a very nice selling opportunity at the top. Should have made sure to manage your trade within this fast problem area, but you can see it still managed to come all the way back down. Seems like it found some sort of a scenario, because you can see this is an area buyers have reacted from before. So it seems that this is the level where the market did end up getting tired from and starting to go to the upside. Overall here, we're definitely still going to be looking for selling opportunities. However, the sells don't necessarily look as strong as the buy. So what could potentially happen is we might end up finding this price breaking to the upside. But remember, we're not going to just all of a sudden start looking for buys, because we are still holding below this area. The best thing to do is if we do get the price breaching and holding above, then is when we can end up looking for a buy. But until then, ideally right now, we're still within this seller's area. So we could end up finding the market giving us some sort of global price action signal for us to look for selling opportunities, but do watch out for this first problem area. The price continues going down and we're able to break below this location. Watch out for this area. Even though we're going to be targeting all the way to the bottom, since the buyers reacted from there before, we could potentially end up reacting from there again. So we watch out for that on silver. So moving on, the last kind of pair we do have here, we have gold. Now, gold yesterday, our bias was to look for selling opportunity. So we did have the red support and resistance area right here. Within, you can see the three highlighted areas. So this, I think, where Claire, you did manage to, I think, grab a buying opportunity. I think, yeah, there was someone who did manage to grab a buy. However, you can see 10 o'clock price was within the buyer's area, no selling opportunity for us because we always say buy with buyers and sell with sellers. But you can see we're within a buyer's area looking for sellers, but the buyers did end up reacting, coming all the way up higher. Wanted to see what kind of reaction would happen all the way to this extreme, because you can see these were the main sellers who pushed downward. But you can see during the US market open at 3, we breached to the upside and we got confirmation that the price is holding above. When that happened, we could have actually looked for buying opportunity. Now buyers ended up switching. So you can see the price managed to continue going up higher. And that's the reason why today buyers here on gold is going to be looking for buying opportunities. So you can see right now where we are. We're within a seller's area. Remember, we always say buy with buyers, sell with sellers. Since overall we're looking for buying opportunities and we're within a seller's area, it's not a good place to look for a trading opportunity. We need one of two things, either a breach to the upside and price holding above for us to continue looking for those buys, or alternatively, we should end up getting some sort of pullback, possibly coming back within this particular area, getting some sort of probe or price action signal for us to look for buying opportunities. Because you can see this is a major level that was broken. There's a high potential that we could end up pulling back towards this area. But this being gold, gold likes going to extremes. So there's also a high probability that don't be surprised that the price comes all the way down till this main trade support and resistance area. And that's when you find the market actually giving us a very nice trading opportunity to take off to the upside. So overall, let's wait to see what ends up happening. But definitely the bias for here is going to be looking for buying opportunities. So I hope that's clear on all the currency pairs. As you can see, we've mixed and matched the pairs on the sell side with all the pairs on the buy side. And we also ended up having a look at the indices as well as gold and silver. So I can be able to address some questions if I do see any. So I'm seeing here Claire. You're saying, hi, Mitch, taught by the best Afriforex. I managed the trade well. Okay, glad to hear it. Yeah, because I know you did end up catching a buying opportunity, the counter, but I know the market did end up reacting within that seller's area, but very good job on that trade. Yeah, keep up the good work that you're doing. So not seeing any more questions, which is fine. I mean, we can end up waiting to see what ends up happening in terms of the fundamental front. Because remember, we have a lot of fundamentals. We have some Swiss franc fundamentals about to come out, so we'll inform you on the Telegram channel. We have some euro fundamentals as well. So those two might end up having some change of bias before the US market opens. So you can see all those fundamentals are coming out during the London market. So now I'm seeing more questions coming in, which is good. Daniela is saying, nice job. At least I'm getting back on my knees, guys. That's glad to hear that. And that's the reason why we're here. We want to help you guys as much as possible. We know it's very difficult when you come to the charts. There are so many things to trade. And now figuring out where is the direction, where are the levels, what should I be looking for? When should I know that I should stop looking for a buy and stop looking for a sell? At least that's the reason why we're trying to give you guys all this information to try and help you guys as much as possible. So glad to hear that, Daniela. So Metri, you're asking the contacts for Afriforex. They should be in the chat box. We'll ask John to type it in there for you, but there should be a number there that you can be able to send to us via WhatsApp. So I'm also seeing Daniel Sini saying, learning from the best in 2024. Glad to hear it, Daniel. Glad you could end up joining us today. And very nice screenshots that you did end up having yesterday as well. And keep up the good work that you're doing. So I guess that's it. Not seeing any more questions. But remember, if you want more detail, now during this session, or at least the Afriforex Amplified program, we call it the AMP, trust you me, we will end up sitting down. So once these sessions are over, once we do the daily analysis, ideally, we want to end up looking from the London market open. So it should possibly start at around 10 o'clock in the morning for around 1.5 to 2 hours or so, where the first 2 weeks we'll be going through a lot of education, making sure that you first know how do you find out which pairs you should be looking for. Because whenever you're coming onto the charts, the main thing you need to know is what should I trade? So pair selection is the first thing we look at. Once you know the pair that you're meant to trade, we also show you the direction and figuring out what direction should you be looking at trading those pairs. Once you have that, now you start reading the market structure, the pullbacks. Are we trending? Are we ranging? Are we channeling? That should give you ideas of what levels and where you could actually end up jumping in your trades. Then we focus on entries. So exactly what should you be looking for to actually be able to enter your trade? So there'll be no guesswork or thinking that maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll go through specifics and we'll go through many practical examples on that. We do that for the first 2 weeks. Then for the next 2 weeks, we're doing that every day, doing the whole process as we're looking for opportunity. The pair selection, figuring out which pairs are nice to trade, where the pullbacks are, where the entries should be, where to manage your trade. We'll go through all that because I know one main issue a lot of you guys have is entries. But there's a lot of things that need to be done before the entry point, which we will end up explaining. But the entries we will really end up focusing on. So there'll be no doubt of when or when you shouldn't actually enter a trade. So if you are interested in this course, we just want to find out if people are actually interested in something like that, if it's a good idea. If not, we'll end up just scrapping this whole thing. But we just want to know and we're just trying to figure out what best ways we can end up helping you guys as much as possible so that when you're jumping in on the charts, you have the most and best knowledge that you can end up having at that time. So feel free to sign up. I think the link for this should be on the chat box. So I guess that is it from me, from us. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me this week. Really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, queries, screenshots, remember our contact details are there in the chat box. You can be able to reach out to us. So once again, thank you guys so much. You guys have a great, great weekend. God bless. Happy trading and bye for now. Cheers, guys.